This is the ocean of the stream of stories, a collection of stories written in the 11th century in Sanskrit, containing around 2,000 unique characters and over 5,000 relationships. To give a little backstory, I picked up the ocean of the stream of stories after it was discussed in the foreword of Malcolm C. Lyons, an Ursula Lyons translation of 1001 Nights. When I was only around 2 pages in and had encountered over 30 characters, I immediately knew the book was something special. I've loved story maps ever since I read War and Peace in middle school, mapping out the names and relations of what I counted to be 103 characters. Now, I have a lot more technology at my disposal, and I can finally undertake a project like this at a much more sophisticated level. I'm not going to talk about this piece as a work of classic literature or recount information from Wikipedia about the historical significance of the book and the mythology it stems from. I don't have a background in Hindu mythology. I'm just going to talk about it from the perspective of someone who sat down, read a book, and learned a lot in the process. Moving to a 2D view is less breathtaking, but makes it easier to see the structure of the story. The ocean of the stream of stories is broken into 2 volumes. Within those volumes are books, and within those books are chapters, and within those chapters are stories, and within those stories are other stories, and within those stories are more stories. One of the things that makes the book unique is that new characters are being introduced in almost every story, as shown in this graph. Using the number of appearances as a metric gives an indicator about the book's topic, and identifies the main characters as Shiva, Indra, Naravahanadatta, Vishnu, and Udayan. In some ways, the book is about Shiva and the other deities, in that they are the reason things happen. People pray to and invoke deities. Sometimes they are cursed or aided by them, which moves along the story, but the story also centers around the king, Udayana, and his son, an incarnation of Kama. These rulers fight battles, come to decisions with their ministers, or more likely, as the most attractive men on earth, get married each time they walk outside. However, this is just the background for a twisted maze of relationships that encompass royalty, animals, animal royalty, objects, deities, family, and war. Whenever the main characters are pining for, said wives, mourning a loved one, or making difficult decisions, they are often told stories by their ministers to help them come to a decision. In some ways, then, the ocean of the stream of stories is really about Gomaku, his worldview as the main storyteller in the book. As stories are the currency of the novel, they present a snapshot of both what concepts the author believed would endure and what needed to be explicitly said. From how the stories are structured, we can glean the unspoken assumptions that people would know the context of the caste system, the pantheon, supernatural figures, and other structures of society life. The book presented a man's world where only the high-ranking kings and ministers, etc., were worthy of naming and speaking on. They also present things they thought everyone needed to be reminded of, the vices of gambling, pitfalls of greed, and of course, the trickery and evilness of women. Reading a book from so long ago is an amazing glance into how the conventional structure of literature has changed over time, as well as how we conceptualize society. During the 9 months I spent reading and cataloging this novel, I was amazed by intricate interlocking pieces of the story. It started conversations with people from other regions of the world, sometimes fixing gaps in my knowledge, sometimes prompting them to realize gaps in their own. It amused me with the antics of the characters, and more often than not, frustrated me by what storytellers presented as the pinnacle of ethics. At heart, all books are about connecting people, invoking strong emotions, and if a work from a millennium ago can still do that, the author can probably count themselves successful, despite how it might be perceived from a modern perspective.